because of what's happening in Gaza, because people believe it is a genocide, because it looks like they're starving kids. I want perspective. Australian journalist Erin Molan, public support of Israel, caused her a lot of backlash, personally, professionally, but just makes me respect her that much more. But I'm here for her understanding of what's happening. Erin, thank you very much, especially with the time change. I woke her up sleeping with her kid last night. I felt terrible about it. But thank you for being here. What do you make of what's happening on the floor of the Senate? And how do you believe the American audience should perceive the reality on the ground in Gaza?
It's great to be with you, Chris, and really appreciate the opportunity. In terms of what's happening with Sanders at the moment, I think 15 Democrats supported him last time. I suspect it will be a couple more this time. But how can you blame anyone for having a negative association with Israel at the moment, given what is happening in the media? And I want to commend you on parts of your opening monologue, because the whole point of making sure that we get this stuff right. Look, I only caught the last part because we were doing audio checks. So everything I heard, I liked immensely. I promise you that. But the whole point of getting things right when it comes to the situation in Gaza is not so that you can say Israel is not to blame, so let's all walk away and wash our hands of this. It's so you can actually help the people on the ground. There is absolutely suffering in Gaza. Of course there is. It is a war zone. It is horrific and it is heartbreaking. But if you are the New York Times and you are putting a fake image associated with a fake narrative on the front page and trying to say that this child is starving because of Israel, then all you do is hurt these children. Now, apportioning blame is the only way that we can actually change the situation. We can help them. Hamas is responsible for every second of suffering. Now, that does not mean that Israel is perfect or that Israel can do more. Of course they can. But if we're constantly appeasing the terrorists, if we're constantly excusing them, if Western leaders are constantly coming out putting pressure on Israel and not an iota of pressure on the terrorist regime that is responsible for mass murder globally, then Hamas will never reach a ceasefire. Israel are not in that country at the moment. They're not in Gaza for revenge because of October 7. They are in Gaza because almost 50 of their people are still there, and Hamas still has capability to kill. The media has a responsibility to report this accurately. You don't have a responsibility to like Israel or support Israel. I do, because I believe not just in their right to exist, but their duty to protect their people. But you have a responsibility not to lie, to damage them, because the only people you hurt, more than any Israeli, more than any Jew, are those children in Gaza who, God, they need help. And they will not get it if the entire world continually excuses the terrorists who are responsible for their suffering.
Quickly, as a journalist, do you think the IDF should be pressured to allow us in and allow the free media to cover it?
Look, in terms of media going in, I'm a journalist. I would send me in there now. I would love to go in. I understand the issues and the dangers associated with it. I do note, though, that Israel and the IDF did have press in looking at the hordes of aid recently. But absolutely, I think the lies are so intense that the only way you're going to do anything to try to counter that narrative is by putting independent people on the ground. If they want to risk their life, absolutely. I understand Hamas will weaponize this, but I think you've got to give people the choice who are journalists, get them in there and get them to show the real story.
Erin, I appreciate your perspective, and thank you for stepping up for me on short notice. Thank you very much. I'm always a call away.
Thank you so much.
Erin Molan, appreciate you. We'll be right back.